Welcome to a very special edition of the Influencers and Innovators podcast series. I'm Dave Stockbridge, your host, and joining me is the man that's usually behind the camera, making everything beautiful, Matthew Norris. Thanks so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you.
Matt, what's really compelling about your story is that you've transformed your entire life over recent times.
Yep.
You've gone from having been employed, a very traditional 9-to-5 type of job, to getting a taste of a different type of life, becoming very entrepreneurial, and just in recent months launching your own business and moving in here at Fluid Solar House.
Yeah.
So there's a whole lot going on there. But I just want to start with the first question, which is, what was the spark behind all of that? What made you feel, when was there a particular moment or a time when you had a feeling that perhaps there was a way out of that traditional 9-to-5 rat race for you?
Yeah, well, I think I was going for a manager promotion role before I sort of started all this, and because I suppose a lot of people just want to do the 9-to-5, and they're happy just doing that because I think it's easy compared to working for yourself. It's easy. You just go there and I didn't get the role. They employed someone else, and the guy they employed was awesome. Like, he ended up being a really, really nice guy and everything.
Great.
But it got me thinking, to say, am I really going to sort of stick around here for the next, 5 or 10 years or whatever? And I thought, I want to break away from that and do something that I want to do. And that's when I made the decision to, start venturing out and try and find something that I can do to.
So when you were looking into that crystal ball of the future of my life over the next 5 or 10 years, what wasn't appealing about that 9-to-5 life?
I think it was just the whole thing of going somewhere where, you just get told you need to do this and that, and, you sort of just go to the same place every day and do the same thing every day, and it was just too mundane.
Would you consider yourself a creative person then?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Had you had any success in being creative previous to starting your own business?
When I was working there, I was doing like their marketing and like some photography and that.
Right.
But
do you have a degree or
nothing?
anything?
Everything that I've done is self-taught. Like
right.
Absolutely everything.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah.
And so, with no formal qualifications, you're doing the marketing there. There's obviously some kind of creativity lying deep within, and trying to find a way out. And that was the outlet for you in that capacity. But so, was it a matter that you just wanted more of that?
Yeah, I think I wanted more of that. I wanted also some freedom to do other stuff too. Like video is my main sort of, I suppose, my favourite thing to do.
Yeah.
When it comes to like the creative side of things, and like there wasn't any real scope to do that there. We kind of did like a bit of a video. This was a few years ago now, and looking back at it, it was quite embarrassing. I'm glad it's not on their Facebook page anymore. But it was kind of like, it was in that industry. There was nothing sexy about it. It wasn't like with real estate, you can have gorgeous houses, or like when, you're selling exotic cars, there's something you can really make look awesome. But like with the service industry, it was just, it was pretty boring. So, I think that the creativeness of the stuff that I wanted to do outside of that, that's sort of what pulled me towards doing what I do now.
Yeah. And so you had some early success with YouTube and experimenting with your own profile on social media. Perhaps talk us through your early experiences of that.
Okay. Well, this was sort of basically between sort of year 11, year 12, and then going into starting uni. That was sort of the era where I did all of that. And basically it was a technology channel that I reviewed products. So, if I bought the latest iPad, I'd do a review on it, go through it. And I found that like buying these products at the time they were launched, people were obviously searching on YouTube for it, because a lot of people want to hear what someone else says about it, something before they buy it. So that's where that sort of started to take off. And then this whole thing about unboxings came along. Like the idea of watching someone open something, even though you've probably watched like 10 videos already of the same thing, like because everyone does it differently. And like I did an unboxing of like one of the original iPads, and I remember like it got 120,000 views, and back then like that was like, oh, that's awesome.
Wow.
And then I managed to get like a what they call YouTube partnerships. So this was at the very start. Now there's a whole bunch of networks, so people like make businesses that sign people on, and then they take a share of the revenue. But this was like basically between me and YouTube partnership, and you start to get a bit of ad revenue. So
Right.
it was enough to sort of fund me buying some stuff and
Yeah.
all that sort of thing. And that's where I sort of started to learn all my skills with the video. So
Right.
and a long story short, like I ended up getting about 4 million people watching all of my stuff.
That's
so,
amazing.
Yeah, so it was stuff from
You went
like,
viral.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So it was like unboxing an iPad or showing people what my desk setup was, or I even had some companies contact me and ask me to review their software and do a video about it.
Yeah.
And if I liked it, like to put it up. If I didn't like it, like they said, you can put it up if you want. Like I don't think they wanted any negative publicity, but I'm thankful. Like and the other thing is like I didn't want to do a video on it if it was crap, because it's not something I would use, and I didn't want to try and go, oh, this is fantastic, and go get people to buy it when it's it's not something I'm going to use, and I'm not going to do a review on it because it's I don't want to get people to buy the wrong stuff. So but it was cool. It was a whole bunch of things, and it was a really good hobby.
So was that surprising to you that there were so many people that were watching?
Yeah. I honestly thought I like my first video got like 100 and something views, and I thought this is like awesome. Like 100 and something people have seen my thing.
I'm famous.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and then as time went on, it started to grow and grow and grow, and I was getting 20 or 30,000 views a day. And if not more, and then some videos just seemed to take off.
Yeah.
One of the videos I did, I bought a MacBook Air. I've had so many Macs I couldn't even list them. But I bought like a MacBook Air, and I just did a video of me opening that, and that got like 127,000 views. And back then that was awesome. Like stuff gets millions of views these days, but back that long, all that time ago, that was a considerable reach.
So how long ago are we talking now?
So this was 2010, 2011.
Right, okay.
Yeah, so it was a fair way back.
Yep.
Yeah.
So kind of early days.
Yeah.
So did you find that there was some formulas that started to work? Like the more that you did it, the more that you found that there was a pattern emerging that made one video successful and perhaps another one not so well received?
Yeah, I think the other thing that like the pattern of like uploading on certain days, like creating a schedule, I think that's also what ended up driving people back.
Yep. So it's interesting as you're going through this creative process. There's one layer in terms of the production and making the video, making it look great, and then there's the other one of the alchemy of how do I get people to come back to the page, subscribe to the channel, and isolate those patterns of behaviour in the consumer that you can leverage from. Yeah,
exactly. And it was funny. There was some real people that were, I guess, fans. Sounds stupid, but whatever. But like they'd comment on my last video and go, oh, like where's the next one? Like it's been a week. Where is it? And I'd try and record enough to sort of have at least a week in advance, and it was weird that people were going, where's the next one? Because when I look at stuff that I did myself, I didn't think it was any that great. I was just filming stuff that I liked. But then once I realised that like people are watching this, and now they're watching it not only about like because they're interested in the product, but they're interested in my views and what I think about it as well. And that was kind of cool as well. So,
So it started to open your mind to the fact that if you start doing more of the things that you like in life, that the happier you'll end up being.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I guess sowing the seeds to that discontent of working 9 to 5 in another person's world, when in fact you can be living your own dream every day.
Yeah, exactly.
And so the transition from hobby to professional has taken place. That metamorphosis over the last 6 or so months. Perhaps talk us through the early stages of that.
Yeah, okay. Well, I guess I've always had an interest in real estate, and I've always just been looking at houses and all that sort of thing. And then I sort of saw that people were doing videos of them. And then a fluke chance, I ended up finding your page on Facebook through Grant winning that car. So
So I ran a competition, giving away a remote control Ferrari. Grant Fuel, hi Grant, hope you're well. Was the winner, and you were a friend of his. You're obviously into cars as well, so that connection with the cars popped up. Finding people with similar values and interests is always cool. And kind of reached out at that stage and said, "Hey,
exactly.
I noticed you're doing some stuff online." Because I started doing some Facebook around that time, some Facebook Lives and the like. It's all flooding back to me now.
And especially like, because I guess I was more interested in like becoming a real estate agent at the very start before I really thought about doing the whole video side of things. And I remember like sitting there one night and you were doing a live Q&A about like being a real estate agent and all the different things, and people were asking you all sorts of questions. And
Yeah.
you know, I remember looking back in the comments, and I was even telling you like to flip the camera back around and like all this sort of stuff before I even had met you. You know? Yeah.
You were directing then.
Yeah, that's right. So, and then, you know, once I contacted you, like we did a little bit of work, and you know, I remember a few months ago now where we saw Jules in one of the houses, and she said, you know, when you look back at some of your original work, you cringe, you know.
Yeah.
And I thought, you know, that's funny, but now I actually do.
Yeah.
I really cringe.
Yeah.
Especially the very first one we did.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
and if we didn't cringe, I don't think it was. Yeah, at the end of the day, I think that's the whole thing. If you're not evolving and you think the first thing you did is fantastic, or if you wait until something's fantastic before you bring it out to market, you don't even know if it is because you've got no context around it.
Exactly.
So it really is just jumping in and getting amongst it, I think.
Yeah. And then, you know, we sort of started to do a few more, and then I actually did a course with a guy called Dave Dwyer, and he runs a video photography company in Brisbane. Really successful guy, like he's awesome. And I did his course about doing real estate videos, and that opened my mind to like, wow, like my first video was not only crap, but it was like completely on the other end of the spectrum of where I should be. And I thought, you know, it's time to like invest in a bit of self-learning. I've never liked school. I went to uni for 6 months and dropped out because it just wasn't for me. But I sat down and invested some time into this, and really learned a lot of techniques and self-learning, and even he's impressed, like from one of my most recent that I've sent to him to my first one, like I did a little comparison video a few months ago, and he's even put it on his website because he was just so impressed on how the difference. So a great example for him to share. Exactly.
And I guess, you know, there we are talking about collaborative marketing. So even in the context, you've got two people in the same industry, essentially. He's mentored you and provided you with some great advice, and he's able to share your success, which is great for your business and great for his business as well.
Exactly.
We'll talk a little bit more about that in a few moments' time, I'm sure. So, what's our timing like at this stage, mate? We okay?
Doesn't say. No, it's still. Yeah, we should be all right.
Okay. So, if we are talking about you then making that leap, you were doing some free videos and just testing the waters. You know, you were just out there taking a day off work in order just to hang out for the day, get a feel for our business, what it is that we were wanting, what we were seeking to do, and coming out there and just filming and mucking around a bit, basically.
Exactly.
And at that stage, you know, it was, you know, you were offering your services for free, and looking back at that video just as well, you know, as we're saying.
100%.
But you know, I think that's part of that whole thing. You know, finding someone, being prepared to do a little bit more, add really great value, and show fantastic intent, and at some point that'll more than reward you.
Yeah, and I think you know, a lot of people, especially in like sort of my younger generation, like they're the now generation, they just want to have it now. A lot of people aren't willing to do the work. You know, they'll go, oh, I don't want to do that for free, like, you know. But you need to not only do it, and I found it was beneficial for me because not only like do you like develop a relationship with you, but you also develop time to be doing, like, develop your skills as well. And I think, you know, you can't just sort of walk into this sort of industry and go, oh, you know, I'm the best, I'll just start from day one and expect people to, you know, pay me a huge amount of money for a video. You know, you need to put in the time and
get runs on the board.
Exactly.
And also get some advocates and get some ambassadors out there, you know, by us developing a relationship to help me become an ambassador for your services. And whenever anybody suggested, maybe we should get a video of this, well, your name was of course top of mind, and therein you were able to develop even deeper relationships with other people.
Exactly.
So you kind of staged your move over though into from full-time paid employment to full-time working in your own business. So that was a gradual process. How long did it take you from the time that you'd started to the time that you transitioned fully into?
I reckon at least six to 7 months, I think.
And was that deliberate? Was the timing set out before you started, or was there a rough idea that you were going to dedicate a day a week or 2 days a week to
I
it?
think it was like, I initially thought, you know, it would take at least 12 months. So I made the move to cut a day off because I was working 5 days full-time at the start. And then well, I can say it now because I don't work there.
Mm.
The old manager I didn't get along with very well,
Mm-hmm.
and I sort of thought, once I started to take that day off,
Mm-hmm.
and then we ended up doing this on that day off. So it eventually started with firstly having the day off a week,
Yeah.
and then it got to a stage in December where I was getting enough work to be able to sustain my expenses.
Yep.
Living at home obviously helps.
Yep.
A lot.
So you're just keeping your costs low,
Yep.
your living expenses low,
Yep.
and filling in. I guess you were only losing that day of income, weren't you?
Yeah.
In order to leverage into a full-time job.
Yeah, and the expenses thing was a big thing too, like cutting stuff away like Netflix and Spotify and all these things that they only cost like $15 a month. But once you've got like 10 or 15 different things that you're doing, it's a considerable amount, and it's also something that opened my eyes to like getting rid of all that stuff because I wasn't using half of it anyway. So it's like.
And you had a pretty flash car. You had the SS Commodore Ute, which would have hurt to say goodbye to as well.
It did. That was my pride and joy. I had that for like three and a half years.
Yeah.
But the way that I saw it, I obviously it was sad selling that car.
Yeah.
But it also was a chance to invest in my business, and for the sacrifice of a car, I'd much rather be doing what I am now. So,
is there anything of those things that you did have that were little comforts in life that you really miss, and as it turns out, you couldn't live without?
This is going to sound stupid. Well, I actually had two cars.
Mm-hmm.
So I had the Ute, and then I had the VS Commodore as well.
Yes.
Which was a really nice, clean daily driver that I just loved, and I actually had sold that as well, which I regretted immensely. And funny you mentioned that because yesterday I bought another one.
Yeah.
And this one's much better. But
it's interesting that you've gone from say a $20,000 or $30,000 SS Commodore Ute, almost like a street machine kind of thing, to being very content with a $1,500 VS Commodore, and still deriving a great deal of joy out of that, but not necessarily needing the newest and the latest and the greatest.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you knew that you could use those funds, deploy them in your new business.
Yeah, and like I've got my Mazda 2, which is a nice little 4-cylinder car. Yeah. I never thought I'd buy one, but it's so good for the business, and I think it comes back to like having something that's reliable. And a lot of the equipment that I've bought, it costs a little bit more money, but it's reliable, and it's the reliability, and you can rely on that to start up every morning, or your cameras to work every day. Yeah. Yeah.
So where are we at now? So Matthew Norris Productions is also Matthew Norris Networks. You've scaled out of just working from home and into now Fluid Solar House, an $8 million off-grid building, first of its type in the world. Just on the other side, actually, of the Zen Garden, if people could pan around and see a little bit more.
Yeah, we can see a little bit on the screen.
Yeah. So with that now, where are we at? You're providing services to other real estate agents. You've done work for car clubs, business associations, government, City of Salisbury, the local politicians, and have all entrusted you. So this is a pretty phenomenal growth in a relatively short period of time.
Definitely. So I didn't expect it. That was for sure.
Yeah. So so what's next?
Well, look, I think, I love doing all that sort of stuff, and I think now, it's time to kind of scale it up a bit. I'm not, the way that I sort of want to run my business, obviously, I'm the reason people come to me, so I'm like the specialist, so, I'm not going to be employing anyone, for this at the moment anyway, but I just want to remain sort of small and concentrate on, the customers that I have and getting a few more, so, it's just a thing that I'm just going to have to build and do over time, and with the Norris networks too. So I've set that up. So if a company, for example, we were going to do this travel show with a company called Unwind Holidays, and it was just going to sort of be a hub where businesses that want to actually create like a sort of a TV kind of show or like a series, that was sort of set up to facilitate that.
Yep. Well, which is a fantastic initiative as well, and I can see many businesses being attracted to that, especially as we see reality TV morphing and changing and becoming much more authentic and less staged, and I think that people are really interested in other people's stories, even if on the surface of it they appear relatively mundane. As a matter of fact, in some cases, it's even more attractive to others. So that's a huge thing, and collaborative marketing on the horizon as well. You know, it's really interesting how a lot of local businesses, they want to do social media. They know it's an imperative. They know it can boost their business, but they're just not entirely sure exactly where to start. And so finding that place or having that platform to start would prove extremely valuable to those. And so you know, we've identified there that there's an opportunity. Yep,
definitely. And I think that's going to be something that that definitely takes over, because I think a lot of people, like, they're spending a lot of money on like stuff like Facebook ads, which it does work and it gets a lot of people looking at stuff, but I think people these days are looking for like authenticity. They want to buy things from people, like or from businesses that are authentic in what they're doing, like they've got a passion behind it. And I think there's lots of businesses that do that, that are looking, you know, for other businesses to collaborate with, and the potential for that is just, it's huge.
I think similarly. I think everybody's got an opportunity to share their story now, and I think it's those stories that compel consumers to not just to come to your business, but to come again. We've got such a great opportunity to work closely with and strengthen the inter-business community. You know, so that one business can trade and refer with another business of similar values, but in a completely different sector. There's tremendous opportunities there. So Matt, it's a really intriguing story, and I think it's a great thing for people perhaps at home who've always had that dream or that vision of maybe taking a sabbatical from work and taking that long service leave, and perhaps, you know, working out what they really love in life and pursuing that more. And you're a fantastic example of that. So as over the weeks to come, there'll be a whole lot more initiatives being rolled out by the Innovators and Influencers Network, as this is so much more than just a podcast. We really hope that this becomes a great resource that businesses can delve into, share their stories, collaborate and work with other businesses, like-minded individuals and people of similar values in order to propel their businesses to the next level. So I'm Dave. Thanks so much for coming on the other side of the camera today, Matt, and sharing your tale. And we'll look forward to chatting to you soon. If any of this is of any interest and you want to know more about social media marketing, videography, and how it can improve your business, please just drop us a comment or get in contact with us directly. We'd love to be able to help you. Thanks heaps.
Thanks.